Yo, what is up everyone? This is OJ over here from PlayerEssence and welcome to another PE Nintendo Switch video. I want to first and foremost say thank you to everyone who's been liking my videos, been retweeting, all of that good stuff. You guys are amazing and I really do appreciate each and every single one of you guys. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into today's news. So Target is listing a June 13th North American release date for The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. There have been rumors swirling around that this game will not make it in time for the Nintendo Switch launch due to the game having so many different open world mechanics and new things that they're doing that Nintendo really needs to make sure that they take the time to fix any bugs and any issues with the game. So therefore, the game will be delayed until summer, and it looks like Target is kind of backing up those rumors by saying that they have a game, as far as The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, that will be releasing on June 13th. We don't know if that's a placeholder or not, but it really seems like that's going to be somewhere around the date where the game is going to be released based on the rumors and just based on the game itself. Obviously, you want to have a game that's bug-free. This is a brand new territory for Nintendo. They did not release a lot of open world RPGs, open world action games on the Wii U. They barely had any, and the one that they did release, Xenoblade Chronicles X, took all generations to release that game. So I can only imagine that the Zelda team is probably going to run into some bugs and some issues with this game, so they have to make sure that all of that gets ironed out. In addition to that, that'll probably give them time to also make a limited edition Nintendo Switch console. So I do think that this release date, or if this does come out to be summer, I'm completely fine with that. Just as long as the launch is stacked with a lot of great games, I'll be happy. And when it comes out summer, there's usually nothing to play. I'll be playing it in summer. Obviously, I want it in March, but that's fine. Based on what we've heard so far, the Nintendo Switch is going to have a ton of great games to keep us occupied until June. So I'm really fine with the way that it is right at this point, based on this listing and based on the rumors. Let's go ahead and move on to something else, which, once again, Bethesda, one of the people that were really down on the Wii U, have completely about-faced when it comes to the Nintendo Switch. So here is what Bethesda's Todd Howard had to say about the Nintendo Switch and the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. So here was a question from new gaming publication, I think it's Glixel? Glixel. I don't know how to say that, but whatever the case that is, they sat down with Todd Howard to talk about the Nintendo Switch and the Skyrim demo that we saw at the Nintendo Switch preview video. So let's go ahead and check out what he has to say. So question from the publication: what do you think of the Nintendo Switch, Nintendo's newly announced console that is portable but also hooks up to your TV? I love it. Got to play it. I will tell you, well, maybe that's an NDA thing. One of the best demos I've ever seen. Probably the best demo I've ever seen at E3. Was it a Nintendo game? I mean, the device itself. I think it's really smart what they're doing. We're definitely going to be supporting it. It's the first time we've done something on Nintendo, if you don't count the old NES stuff. Home Alone or Where's Waldo. Can you really bring Skyrim with you on the go? It's the same game on the TV and on the other screen. So really impressive stuff here coming from Todd Howard. Bethesda has really never developed for Nintendo systems anytime recently other than the stuff that he talked about there. So it's really exciting to see this. But of course, you guys know that I'm going to take it a little step further. And we're going to go ahead and analyze this from what Bethesda had to say on the Wii U before and what they're saying at this point. So going back to 2013, Bethesda's VP of Marketing and Sales, Pete Hines, had this to say about the Wii U. Quotations: "The time for convincing publishers and developers to support the Wii U has long passed," Hines said. "The box is out. You have to do what Sony and Microsoft has been doing with us for a long time," he added. "And it's not that every time we meet with them, we got the answers we wanted, but they involved us very early on and talked to folks like Bethesda and Gearbox and saying, here's what we're doing, here's what we're planning, here's how we think it's going to work, to hear what we thought about it from our tech guys, from an experience standpoint, what we thought." You have to spend an unbelievable amount of time up front doing that. If you're going to decide we're going to make a box and this is how it's going to work, you should make games for it. Well, no. No is my answer. It's probably not too controversial to say that the Wii U is not where the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 will be. And that's a lot of development time. You're going to split a bunch of very different platforms if you're trying to release on all of them simultaneously, he said. That's really where it comes down to. How similar is it to what you're doing on the other consoles? And we've got to strip all the other stuff out to make it work. We've got to completely redo the controls. It's just not going to happen. So here's the thing, guys, and which I've been saying a lot. I've had many people and I've seen videos, oh, the 4 gigabytes of RAM, that's just going to be a problem. People like Bethesda aren't going to support it with that amount of RAM. Once again, if you look at what they've said before, and if you look at what they're saying at this point when it comes to comparing the consoles, It's the architecture. The main reason why Bethesda did not support the Nintendo Wii U was because of the architecture. The architecture was not where they wanted it to be. Nintendo did not talk to them about how things work. Heck, Nintendo didn't even know what to do with the online as far as how to integrate Mii's from a system OS level standpoint when third-party developers were asking them, how does this work as far as Nintendo Network ID and things like that. Nintendo was like, we're not sure. Even when developers were asking them. This is not the case with the Nintendo Switch. The architecture is more similar to what you'd see on PS4 and Xbox One and PC. The Nvidia CEO also said that. So you're going to be able to get ports a lot easier than before. It's going to be far easier to port games from PS4 and Xbox One, even with the reduced amount of RAM, because a lot of these games run on certain engines. And it doesn't matter if it has a little bit less, it's just going to scale a couple things back as long as the developers can port it over smoothly with no problems. And that's the biggest thing, architecture, guys. The architecture is really what's going to get Nintendo third-party support in addition to sales. They need to sell the system, and of course it has that architecture. So those are the two things, really. So it's interesting just to see how things have changed, how much things have changed. So that's why I think that the Nintendo Switch is definitely going to get a lot more third-party support than the Wii U did. Because if guys like Bethesda are supporting it after saying what they said about the Wii U, you can clearly tell that the architecture is where they want it to be. Otherwise, they wouldn't have said, no, we're not going to support the Wii U, because you can't just make a box and tell us to support it. We're going to say no. What did they do this time? They actually went to Bethesda, asked them what they wanted. What do you want us to do with this system? They probably talked to a lot of third-party developers after the Wii U launched and up until this point to the Nintendo Switch launch and says, hey, what can we do different? In addition to Nintendo saying, well, what can we do to make this system appeal to not only console owners, but also appeal to our large 3DS ownership that we do have and handheld gamers out there. So I think Nintendo kind of sliced off both as far as from the quirky Nintendo playbook and from listening to third-party developers, something that they didn't do with the Nintendo Wii U, where unfortunately they tethered the system to an old architecture and a weak CPU, and it ended up just not working. In addition to horrendous marketing, you didn't have the architecture there. Of course, developers are not going to want to support that when the sales aren't there, their architecture isn't there. Whereas with the Nintendo Switch, things are definitely going to be a lot different. So it's exciting to see third-party developers like Bethesda, who were so negative on the Wii U and released nothing, come out and say, oh yeah, we're going to support it. It's right there where we want it to be. It's awesome. It's a great idea. It's really smart what they're doing. That gives confidence that we're going to see potentially more games like Fallout and other games in the future from Bethesda. So it's definitely a good sign. Let me know what you guys think about the target listing for the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and what Bethesda had to say on the Nintendo Switch in the comment section below. Alright guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and hit that like button if you did like it. Lets me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to PlayerEssence for more news, reviews, trailers, tips, and tricks, and everything in gaming. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you for the next video. Peace.